Hello friends, my name is Katie and I have been in a writing slump for 6 months now. Oops. So I talked about this in a previous video where I discussed the fact that I've been in a slump for many moons now. This was in my writing problems video where I talked about the fact that I thought I was in a slump because I hadn't refilled my creative well after finishing the Wrath King's first draft. Well, turns out it's not just that that's causing my writing slump. I have a couple reasons for my writing slump and I thought I would talk through them since NaNoWriMo is literally right around the corner and I still am very lost as to what I'm doing now that the Wrath King is moving into developmental edits, into line edits, into plot edits, into non-drafting stages. So, the reasons for my writing slump. I can't decide which project to draft. This is my main one. This is my main problem that I've been having. By not knowing what I'm going to draft next, or not having a concrete plan of, I want to draft this, so I'm going to draft this, or I have no other projects, so I guess I'll draft this, which is what happened when I drafted the Wrath King. For me, this leads to incredible art fear, which is a whole entire topic in and of itself that we don't have time to fully unpack in this video, but I can surely make an entire video about art fear if that's a topic y'all want to discuss. So the reason I'm having incredible art fear at the moment is the pervasive thought that what if I can't write another manuscript, another draft, another book. Now, I'm sure this is a thing that a lot of authors and writers go through, but this is something that has been prevailing in my brain for many years. It has been prevailing in my brain since before I completed a manuscript, but now it is now layered on the fact of if I ever do complete a manuscript, I doubt it'll ever be as good as the Wrath King. Years and years down the line, I would hope that the book that I publish when I've honed my craft will be infinitely better than the Wrath King, which is the first book I ever completed, whether the Wrath King is my debut or not. The other thing that is contributing to my writing slump is my depression. I'm going to therapy and taking meds, which is pretty much the only things that I can do at the moment. So that's a factor in just my life in general, not just my writing life. I also have found that one of the reasons I've been in a writing slump is because I continue to procrastinate writing. Now, I procrastinate because I'm afraid of writing, because have art fear, because I'm afraid I'll never write anything that's as good as the Wrath King. So that's why we have fear. So I feel shitty because I'm not writing, and I'm literally a writing YouTube channel. And also, that's the kind of content I make. Obviously, I'm making more content than just writing related things, but writing is a humongous part of my life that I want to share with people, that I want to talk about. Hence why I'm on the internet. So then I become depressed. Writing is also one of my healthier coping mechanisms to dealing with life. So the fact that I'm not writing means I'm more depressed, which means that I procrastinate more, which means I have more art fear, which means I don't write, and it's kind of just a depressing cycle. But that was lame. Anyway, you get the point. I don't want this to happen anymore. I don't want to not be writing anymore. I want to draft something. I want to draft something that I can talk about with you guys. I just want to draft. I just want to draft so bad. And I've been saying this for months, and yet I haven't. But the reason that this is kind of all coming to a head is because I'm going to be making a bunch of Preptober videos and I'm going to be doing a lot of NaNoWriMo content in November. So NaNoWriMo is both the solution and the problem with my writing slump. First of all, I really want to be part of NaNoWriMo because I love NaNoWriMo. It's a really great time of year. It's awesome. I love it. The second part of it though, I don't want to start anything until November 1st, which means I don't want to start drafting something until November 1st, which is a stupid thing that's going on in my head, but it's going on in my head nonetheless. That I don't want to start something outside of NaNoWriMo. I've been doing some writing prompts, trying to figure out which project feels the best for me, which I think is still a valuable technique that I've been using to try to figure out what I'm doing with writing, what project I'm gonna write. Sorry about all the heavy dog sighing. And I've realized through doing these prompts, I can't write out of order. I actually hate writing out of order. I feel very discombobulated when I write out of order. I feel like the writing isn't nearly as good if I'm writing out of order. Because the best thing about me for being a pantser and writing a novel is writing it in order and organically finding things and being able to reference back to things and feeling like I am creating a story from the ground up, which is probably the logical linear side of my brain being like, hey, you shouldn't write out of order because then you're going to miss details and you're just going to have to rewrite this entire scene anyway, so it's more efficient to just start at the beginning and then go through, even if it's shitty. So I can't write out of order. So to combat that and the fact that I can't write out of order, or that I don't want to write out of order, or I feel worse if I write out of order, I have decided to do something a little bit different. And I say this in every video, but it's fine. So to fix this, let's take a look at my various projects, and I'm going to look at them objectively, see where I'm at in each of their processes, and where I'm at the beginning. And if I have a beginning, an inciting incident, and also if I kind of know where the story is going to be going. And I'm also going to be spilling some tea about some of my projects. So let's start planning the beginnings. Okay, voiceover Katie here. I have had several ideas floating around for projects, and I thought it would be a good exercise to decipher the pros and cons of each project in an objective kind of way, and really take a deep look at what I actually know about these projects beyond just the abstract vision I have in my head, so I can actually know what project is the closest to being ready to draft. So let's begin with my elemental superhero novel. The aesthetic for this is definitely leaning on grungy city aesthetic, kind of like Gotham. At this moment in time, I would say my comp title for this novel is Justice League meets Heroes of Olympus, minus the Greek myths, but eventually will evolve into something like Birds of Prey, especially as the characters get older and the series goes on. What I do know is the beginning. I have an idea of the inciting incident, and I have 3 scenes and the end mapped out. And by 3 scenes, I mean like 3 training montages, and by the end mapped out, I mean I know what will happen at the very end, vaguely. So in reality, I have very little. I have no idea who the antagonist in this book is. I kind of know who the big bad for the rest of the series is, or supposed big bad. I don't know yet. It might end up just being the government. But I don't know the setting beyond, like, cityscape. The genre? Have no idea. Is it fantasy? Is it sci-fi? Is it dystopia? Good question. Does superhero count as a genre? I feel like it should. So in conclusion, I have no idea what I'm doing with this project, so let's just move swiftly on. The next one is The Queen's Champions, aka my traditional fantasy. I know the beginning, I know the world building. I've actually worked in several blast vlogs on it. So I have a lot of excitement for this world, the characters, and the species I've created. But the beginning feels too similar to the Wrath King, which is also a fantasy. So how many times can I really put a massacre in the beginning of a book without it feeling cheap? I have no idea what the vibes are, what the setting is, and what I'm looking for the atmosphere to be, which is a problem because it'll probably end up being too much like the Wrath King. I have so much fear surrounding this project because I'm not sure what makes it unique yet, beyond the characters and the races, but the plot and what the characters are like don't feel unique to me yet. I think it just needs to marinate more. Okay, so don't give up hope, we still have a couple options left. The next one is The Shadows Have Teeth, or my sexy Western demon story. I've imagined it like Winona Earp and Stranger Things having a weird baby. It's a Western, but it's also an urban fantasy and a touch historical. You know, cowboys, the West, we love it. I've had this idea in my head so long that I'm certain it's done marinating. I have a beginning image, which I think is fairly strong if I do say so myself. I know the characters, the setting, and the vibes. But beyond the opening image, what happens? I don't know. Essentially, I don't know how any of the plot or the characters interact and twist together. The plot threads are vague at the best and have something to do with the occult, so that won't work. Okay, so this has been a bust so far, but I have hope for the last 2. Let's talk about Reincarnated Gods. I don't have a clever, catchy project title for this. I do have a real title, but I'm not sharing it yet. This one is my most recent inspiration. I believe I also talked about this in a vlog many moons ago. I've imagined it as Hunger Games meets Cannonball Run. It's very family-oriented and has a lot of angst, fun tropes, and romance built into it. It's the most YA one I've thought of. It has the easiest setting, a modern city with modern technology. It's technically more urban fantasy, but I'm not really into defining the genre at this point. I'm unsure of whether it's actually urban fantasy because it only has one fantastical element to it. I know the beginning the best of all the projects. I've outlined like half of Act 1, and I have a vivid and clear idea of how the plot will unfold. So this is promising, right? But it has so many characters. Oh my god, so many families, like Game of Thrones level amounts of families. And most of them aren't fleshed out at all because I'm too lazy and felt overwhelmed by it. So because I don't know many of the families or the characters, the main characters that I've chosen seem really arbitrary, and I'm kind of shocked that I came up with so many characters. Like, I need to tone it down. Also, who are the antagonists? How does this end? I don't know. Again, I only know the beginning. But it seems like these problems would be fixed by a discovery first draft, so we'll put this one on the maybe pile. And last but not least, I'm considering my self-indulgent vampire novel. I've talked about this on a couple live streams, like in the comments. My inspirations for this are The Mafia, The Alienist, Vampire Diaries, Prodigal Son, and complex family dynamics. Woo, we love to see it. The beginning is very clear to me, and so is the main character. She's been in my head for a while, along with her dysfunctional family. Her dysfunctional family of vampires. The books in the series would be in an episodic mystery style, so each book would have a main mystery that's easy to follow, and those beats are fairly standard, so plotting I don't think would take extremely long, nor would it have to be incredibly unique, unlike other fantasies where I want to stretch my plotting abilities. Also, I love vampires, okay? Fucking sue me. And I know the main mystery. I know who is killing and why. Dun dun dun. But again, do I rely too heavily on the murder in the beginning when the Wrath King also opens with a murder? It is different, but still, I'm worried I'm gonna end up seeming like a one-trick pony. Is this the only way I know how to open a book? And it has so many different ways that it can play out. Honestly, too many options. How will I keep focused on one outcome? Am I able to handle an 1890s style setting while I slip into indistinct fantasy land, or can I keep a cohesive feel to the setting? That's my biggest worry, is I really want this to feel like 1890s, just not in our world. I also have an idea for what the subplot could be. I have like kernels and seedlings of ideas. I have the exciting incident for it, but why does it happen? Who causes it? I don't know. But this one also goes on the maybe pile. So I've narrowed it down to my vampire novel and reincarnated gods novel. They're so vastly different from each other, I'll probably devote a vlog to working on each before I decide and announce which one I'm working on in Nano. Unless I panic and write something else, which is also entirely possible. Anyway, thank you for coming on my journey. Back to screen Katie to wish you farewell. Okay, before we go, I just want to do a really quick thank you to everyone who has subscribed to me over the past 3 months. I really appreciate it and never would have thought that so many of you would be enjoying my content and really relating to my struggles and what I'm going through and enjoying listening to my rambling voice. I appreciate every single comment that has been on my videos in the last couple of months. It's really been inspiring to me and really helped me continue to create the content that I'm creating, because I know I enjoy it, but it's really nice to know that other people enjoy my content as well. So I just want to say a humongous thank you. I have just passed 100 subscribers, which in the grand scheme of YouTube is not a ton, but it really means a lot to me that so many of you have subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do that, because I've got a lot of fun videos planned. In that vein though, I really want to get into doing some live streams because I love participating in them, and I think it'd be fun if I ran my own because it's fun. So I will hopefully have a live stream up soon in the next week or two. I'm leaning more towards doing a later at night one, but I can also do an early morning one. Kind of depends on what you guys would like. You guys would be the ones who are coming, so if you have any preferences, leave them down below. If you are also a YouTuber and you want to be a live stream host with me at some point, make sure you let me know down below as well, and follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting a ton of content. I'll be posting a ton of things about my live stream event, about my live stream as well. I'll be posting a ton about my first live stream on Instagram, so make sure you follow me on there if you want to get in contact with me or talk to me about live streams, because there's a lot of author tubers who do live streams and I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but I also have to find a time that's good for me. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a humongous thank you, and I can't wait to continue this journey. I know a ton of you have just recently subscribed. I literally think I jumped like 35 subscribers in one day, and that is all thank you to my wonderful friend Ginger Reads Laney. She gave me a wonderful shout out on her most recent video and her return to YouTube, which I highly recommend her channel. She was the first author tuber I ever watched, and actually her videos are what got me into doing some of the things that I do now as part of my process, so I highly recommend going and watching her videos if you don't already. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me and this video. I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe button down below. It really helps me and it tells me you're liking my content. Make sure you leave me a comment down below so I can get to know you guys. So thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, whenever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
If I could tell you, I would. Honestly, no secrets, but